Hey everybody, welcome back to my Python 3 for Beginners tutorial series. In this video we're going to go over return. Return basically does exactly that. It returns a value of something. So let me just show you. I think it'll be a little bit easier to show you than to try to explain it. Now you know how to do functions from a previous video. So if I do a function here, we'll do our F to C again. We're going to do our Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion again, but we're going to do it a bit differently this time, and you'll see how we do it and how the return function works. So let's put our temp in there again like we did before. But now this time we're going to go Celsius equals temp minus 32 and times 0.5556. Now you'll remember, because of the order of operations, normally it would do the multiplication first, so we have to put the temp minus 32 in parentheses so that it does that first. Now what we want to tell it from this point is to return Celsius. So the reason we do that is we put Celsius as a variable, and we told it, instead of giving Celsius the variable just one single number or string as a value, we gave it a value of an equation. So Celsius, the variable, will do this equation based off of whatever number we put into the function, just like before when we put the number in. And now we're telling the function to return whatever that equation is. And it's going to give us an answer, and it's going to store it in Celsius. So if I go F to C and I put 84 degrees in there, it's actually not going to show anything. I'm going to show you why, but let me first show you that it's blank right here. And the reason being is, in the previous functions we would put like a print function up here, and we would tell it to print something out onto the screen. We didn't do that this time. All this function is doing the math and returning that value. So what I really need to do down here is I need to assign this function to a variable and then print that variable. So if I put conversion equals F to C 84, now I can put print the temperature conversion from F to C is, or actually, you know, I'm just going to type the temperature in Celsius is, and then we're going to put a comma, because if you remember correctly, I showed you, or if you remember from a previous video, I showed you a trick where instead of having to do the str like we could do plus str, and we could put conversion, and that'll work. But what's a little bit easier is if you just do a comma. It kind of ends the string here and allows you to put in this case it's called a float because it's a decimal point number. So we can just put conversion. Now if we run it, we get an error. What does it say? Conversion is not defined. Oh, because I spelled it wrong right here. Now you'll see it says the temperature in Celsius is 28.89119998. So it gives you this very long decimal number, but we really are just focusing on this 28. But you can see how that works. So if we go over this one more time, when we declare the function here, we define the function rather, we do it just like we did before. We do the F to C, and we give it something that we want to fill into the function. And then we assign Celsius as a variable. We make Celsius a variable, but this time instead of assigning Celsius a single value or a string, we actually do the equation within that variable, and we tell the function to return that variable, which means it's returning whatever this equation, the answer to this equation would be. Then, because that function itself is not printing out anything, we take this variable conversion that we just created and we assign it the function. So basically we're telling Python, hey, this conversion variable, we want it to be whatever the answer is of this function up here if we punch in 84 or any other number. So basically we're only doing that so that we have a way to put it on the screen at this point. So to put it on the screen, then we just used the print function, and we plugged it in there with the string, and then we added the comma so that we could put the float in there with the string. So that's how return works. And you can do this for all different kinds of things, not just Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion, but you can try with anything. If you want to try some other mathematical equation that you know and practice it that way, I would encourage you to do that, because with programming, practicing is going to be what makes you better by doing it over and over and over and over again. But I appreciate you watching this video, and I hope you'll stick around for the next one. Thanks. I'll see you there.